I just feel like what the world could have gotten from him would have been great. And we're robbed of that. We're never gonna see him in his full potential. We're not gonna see him, married. We're not gonna see his children. So it's like we've been taken, everything's been taken from us.
It really bothers me. I can't solve it right now. I don't have too many that it's become unsolved, because we want to do the best at our job. We want to figure all this stuff out, and then when we can't produce, the findings that we are looking for, it bothers me. It does. On October the 16th, it was a Saturday at approximately 10:44 at night. I was working DUI patrol in Henrico County when I heard the call come out of a hit and run that occurred up on Knuckles Road. Mr. Johnson was driving his Dodge Charger, and he had pulled over to the right shoulder in the right through lane. He had gotten out of his vehicle and began to walk down the street towards 295 or Hickory Park. From there, possibly he was hit by a vehicle. A police officer and a tow truck driver arrived on scene. He had signs of life. CPR was actually administered on scene by Henrico Police. He was taken down to Henrico Doctors Force, which is our level 2 trauma center. Unfortunately, he did not survive his injuries.
When I heard what had happened, I was about 100, maybe 150 miles away. I just was shattered. I couldn't believe it. My whole family was shattered. To get that type of news, it feels like a movie. So it was unreal. The feeling was unreal. He was a very inspired person, I would say. He was a very outgoing person. He was very courageous. He was strong. He was very smart, talented individual with music, songwriting. He owned his own business. He just was a all-around wonderful person. Just a wonderful person to meet, be around. He'd lift you up if you were down. Who I am right now to this day is because of my oldest brother. I was always on his shoulder looking up to him, trying to figure out what to do in life. He led me to college, music. He gave me an incredible work ethic. It's awesome, the things he showed me. We talked every single day. I would think about our North Carolina runs. He worked in North Carolina, I worked in North Carolina. But we both lived in Virginia. So it's like every morning we call each other like, where you at, where you at? So it's like that type of stuff like that. We had a undying bond, stronger than no other.
The car was approximately in this location right here in the right through lane. It was facing this direction, as it should have been if somebody were to pull off to the right side of the road. It did have its lights on at the time when it was stopped, and he would have exited out towards the dotted line and started walking in that direction. And as it got up a little further, it's believed when he got struck by the vehicle. But their hunch of what happened is that as he was walking down, a passerby in the center lane just struck him with the vehicle. It's really unknown at this point, how exactly it happened. However, that I do know that much as far as, the vehicle would have been in the center lane when he was struck. When I pulled up to the scene, it was very dark. There was no ambient light, no moonlight that evening. As I started walking the scene, I started to try to determine if there was any physical evidence. A lot of times, especially with pedestrians involved or any kind of crash for that matter, there's physical evidence on the ground. There's vehicle pieces, glass, things like that, but there was actually very little to no evidence at all as far as from the vehicle. And from there, you have to go use other avenues to try to determine what kind of vehicle struck him. We got some stuff out of evidence from the case we're working on. I just wonder if we can give another quick look. Part of our investigation, especially with pedestrian strikes and hit and run cases, the clothing offers a lot of good evidence. We will take that clothing, we will package that, put it in our evidence unit, and we will actually send it down to the state lab. And they will try to determine if there's any kind of paint chips on the clothing. In this case, there was some found, and it was analyzed. Normally, cameras are very helpful. We always try to canvass the areas of these crashes. I did find video from the Atlantic Bank and also the bank, the BBT, up the street. The leads that we have had come in, they've been very vague, not really able to give us much direction. So now we are asking for the public's help.
Officer Shoemaker.
If you think you've been involved or you know somebody that has made mention that there was some involvement with this crash, they need to come forward for the sake of the family, if not for themselves. You know, that's a lot to hold onto somebody's shoulders and to keep inside, knowing that this happened. We can figure everything out, and that way the family knows and can get some closure with this whole thing.
I feel like if you seen it happen that night, if you were there, a bystander, innocent bystander, anything, I really feel like you should definitely call. You should call. And no one's speaking up because maybe they're afraid, maybe they don't want to be called a snitch or whatever, but I really think you should call. It will help tremendously because that will help my mom find justice. You know, in my family, everyone's still hurting, you know. For a family to not know what happened and be 100 miles away is heartbreaking enough. If somebody would come up and let us know at least something, one lead or something, you know, it'll help the depression. My baby sister, I want her mind to be easy. You know, she see Rome, his pictures, anything like that, she asks, where is he? You know, 5, 6-year-olds shouldn't be talking like that, but it's like, you have to break it down to a little baby that her brother is gone and never coming back, you know, and the person is still out here. You know, that's uneasy, that's unsettling to me. So I just feel like justice is just the best thing.